Hi, I am Natalia, creator of Arta Stories Behind Art. Today we'll talk about Indian folk art, and there is also a surprise, so stay to the end of the episode. The Gond art paintings are rich with meaning, rituals, traditions, and daily life. So Venkat, could you tell us about Gond? Where is it from?
Before they were doing painting on walls, caves. When they shifted to the houses, they paint clay houses and grounds. Now we are living in the very much, of course, cement houses. So of course we are doing some cement mural also. But the ground we call digna, and digna is a geometrical patterns which is used clay colors to made out the digna. And those work by ladies actually, and but the men also help them to work very well. So that's the painting came from there actually, slowly, and they changed the pattern and design and later. But my uncle Jangan Singh Shyam, who was the first painter, pioneer of the Gond art actually, when Bharat Bhavan Bhopal was established that time, Jagdish Swaminathan, who invited him to paint.
The Gond, the kings in the Gond community, they were actually employed by them to be their storytellers, their artists. So they were actually working with them, basically, right? And they were the ones who were doing the painting and doing the storytelling in the Gond for the Gond kings. Oh, and they were supposed to be the heads for these kings actually. Like the kings considered them very important, so that's why they were given the name Pradhan in Hindi, which actually means head, right? So they were considered a very important part of that community.
Start as a career of the painter. So he went there and started painting, and totally he changed his style.
Okay, so he's basically saying that it started with those clay murals, and then the first thing they changed is they got it on paper. And then when they started doing it on paper, then they also started adding these dots, which are very representative of Gond art. But that happened when he joined and his brother also joined, and they all together they came up with this idea that actually putting this dotted work along with the mural on the paper is actually giving it a very, very good look and very different look, and that changed the whole look of the art. So then slowly they started showing all of these stories on canvas, right from the stories of the kings to everything, even like the tiniest thing like an ant, and what that ant's story is also documented by them in their paintings. So that's how elaborate their stories are actually.
Wow.
That right from the kings to a tiny ant, their stories cover everything. Yeah.
Everything. Wow. And could you tell us a bit more about the dots and the style itself, and also how you are painting it, like the process itself?
What he's telling us now is that whatever the pattern is inside this art, right? Like for example, he follows the pattern of a dot and a semicircle. This pattern is different for every Gond artist actually, and this is almost their signature. That if you see a tree and the tree has a dot and a semicircle, which means it's Venkat's work. If someone else is doing dash and filling it up, it means it's someone else's work. So it's their signature actually, and his signature, which is this dot and semicircle, it actually means the supreme god is represented by the dot, and the semicircle around it, which surrounds is the community. So all their people, they are represented by the semicircle, and the dot is the supreme god. So that's
Very
beautiful
smart.
actually.
Yeah. Are you still living in the region, and are you still producing their work, or did you move around? And where's your studio? Where do
No,
you
there's my studio in Bhopal, and I'm living last 35 years in Bhopal actually.
Yeah.
So when I was very young, around 15-year-old, then I moved to
So he's been there.
Yeah. So it's been your home for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how it's the life of the artists in the region? Like, how do you find clients, and how do you find a new inspiration as well? So could you tell us a bit more about your personal life?
So the beginning was very difficult for them. They had to struggle a lot because most people would be like, oh, this is just paper. and it's just a painting on paper. Why are you charging so much for it? That would be the reaction. So he had to put in a lot of his own money to actually set up exhibitions and create a brand literally around their art, and tell people these stories and show them how much effort was actually involved in their work. Because that's when people finally started to understand that, okay, this is actual art. This takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of thought. It's effort, not just physical effort. It's a lot of thought which goes into this art as well. And which is when finally they started, people started to know about them, and they started, to be able to sell their paintings actually.
Yeah.
And now he's a very well-known artist. Actually,
Beautiful.
he's one of India's best-known artists for this art.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it was all like kind of self-made. So you created the brand from zero, literally.
Yeah. Even I wrote a book called Finding My Way. You can find online in Amazon also.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, and the another.
Been published, yeah. He's written one book which you can anyway, like you said, find on Amazon. Plus, one of his previous books has been published again, right? Yeah.
Is that the book is mostly about your experience as an artist, or is it
Yes,
about art?
about my art, about my community, the customs and all.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'm going to buy it. I'm so interested now, especially like today I learned so much.
Yeah.
And now you have a new chapter, the Hong Kong chapter.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
All your fans from the
Yeah.
Hong Kong chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't ask about what you've done in Hong Kong. So could you tell us a bit more about the painting which you did yesterday?
Yeah.
He's done two actually. He's done
two
yeah.
places. Yeah, one is Tikha. There's one typical lady and the chaiwala.
The tea server.
Tea maker.
So it's really nice. It goes so beautifully with the brand. Tikha, I mean, if people are familiar with it, it's a really nice tea cafe, which is in Sainkon. And so they wanted something which can go with their brand. So he created this beautiful tea picker who's picking the tea leaves. And on the other side, there's a tea server, the traditional way tea is served in India, like it's made on the roads actually and served, in a small little glass. So yeah, it's actually the process of making the tea and shown in Gondart.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
amazing.
of course, you've seen them. You seen that
The
one.
gunpowder one.
Gunpowder.
Yes,
so the
yes,
bushes.
yes.
So
Yes, amazing.
because the tree of life is always. I like the tree.
He loves the tree of life because where he was born, it's surrounded by a jungle, and so he loves making the tree of life, and which is why at Gunpowder there's a small section of the tree of life that he's made over there.
Yeah. I can see from all this different style and technique, the word nature, it's coming so often. Hello. It's almost
That's
every
true,
single technique
yeah.
has this
Very
root
closely
of
connected
nature.
to nature. Honestly, like I tell people, it's like your, UN SDG goals right there actually, because this is where we show man's relationship with nature, man's relationship with each other, with the community. This art, all of these traditional art forms, nothing else shows it better than that.
Absolutely. The last question, as always, is where we can find you online.
I'm in Facebook, Instagram.
He's active. He's
yeah,
one
so,
of the few
my-
active.
Amazing. I'm going to follow you everywhere.
My website I just stopped now because so many people copying my work.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I stopped my
So that's
website.
a big problem in their work actually, that if they put too much of their work online, it starts getting copied very easily too.
Yeah.
So it's a fine balance between showcasing your best work versus protecting your best work also, because so that it doesn't get copied too easily.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having
coming.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as I mentioned, there is a special surprise for you guys. So if you like the design and if you really love Indian art, you can actually own a small piece of it or a big one. Really depends on you. So Miramaki prepared a special offer for Arta audience. So if you want to get a bag or a sari or a dress or a jacket or anything with the design of the artist which you just hear from, you can do it, and I have a special code for you where you can have 10% discount on any purchase at Marvika website. Look at the link in the description. You can get the link from my website. So that's the end for today. Let me know which style do you like the most in the comments below. Subscribe if you like the concept, and of course share the video with your friends and family if you think they will like the content as well. Thank you so much and see you soon.
That was good. I hope the background noise wasn't
It's fine. I think, you know what, I just like actually the fact it's
outside.
it's outside and it's showing this also
Everyone working
the
as
vibrant
well.
of the culture and the
Yeah.
fact every time when I think about India, I think
It's
about
the chaos.
family. I think about this
Yeah.
happiness and this energy.
Yeah.
And it should be like this. It's like it would be so fake if
No,
it would be
I
like
agree.
the